It's time for Milberger's Gardening South Texas, live from Milberger's Landscaping and Nursery at 1604 in Bulverde Road. During the next 2 hours, our experts will help you with your gardening questions when you call 210-308-8867. That's 210-308-8867. Or come by Milberger's during the show and have your question answered in person. And now it's time for Milberger's Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Good afternoon. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to Milberger's Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, live and on the patio here at Milberger's today. Alex Escobar with Dr. Calvin Finch and Mark Peterson. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867.
So why did you emphasize the live?
Well, if people were listening yesterday, we had to pre-record. Our station was down for some maintenance going down that had the whole building without power, so we had to pre-record for yesterday. But we're also going to have to pre-record for this upcoming Saturday as well. So listeners, be prepared for that. But we are live today, and we will be live next Sunday.
We're here.
We're here.
And so is the humidity and the heat.
Oh,
I want to go back to the station. It's too hot and humid out here.
But the good news is that there's a lot of wonderful plants here. Sure, just everything in bloom. All these lantanas. And the cuffia looks especially good.
And you had seen a hummingbird or two?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Yeah, it's been skullcap. It's been hanging out at the skullcap.
And we have two different kinds. We have the pink and we have purple.
And our hummingbirds have been hanging on the pink.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I haven't seen any today, though.
No, when you were inside, Calvin saw one.
Oh. Yeah, he was there. Female was around.
Yeah, again, we don't know if it's one or several.
It was a large size for Black-chin, so it was mature. So that'll be interesting. I saw a lot of them at my landscape yesterday and today too. Hummingbirds. They were busy collecting nectar from porterweed. And
porterweed?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Remember I bought...
Oh, that's right, yeah, and you...
Restored my greenhouse and kept it alive with the help of instructions from Lulu. Kept it alive over the winter, and then I transplanted it into big containers. And it is attracting not only the hummingbirds, but the butterflies and the bees, too. But I keep looking here. I wouldn't mind getting some more. I keep wondering when we might get some. I've asked about it, and I think the nursery is trying hard to get some more. But that especially, I like that dwarf red porterweed. That's an exciting plant that really attracts the pollinators. And there's the older. At one time, a few years back, what we had 4 or 5 different colors and sizes of porterweed. There's lots of them out there that are available, but the ones that seem to be most attractive and to attract the pollinators are the dwarf red and the dwarf blue. But and there's of course our blue Pompego out there, and some white still, and Esperanza.
I picked one up early this morning. It's of the Pompegos. Very nice. I think I have the right place to put it. Morning sun, afternoon shade. I think they'll do okay there.
So when you picked it up, did you just talk to it, or what?
I talked to it, yeah. I noticed that it had flowers on every part of the plant.
Well,
I said, "You'll do."
It's hard for Mark.
You'll do, pig.
Hard for Mark and I to resist the white flowered Pompego, although has a reputation for being a little less bloom frequent than the blue. The blue we expect a longer bloom period, but the ones that we got here at the nursery, the whites look pretty spectacular.
Yeah. And they seem to be going, so if you want a white one, come on by.
And I'm sure Alex will be talking about the plants that are on sale. A lot of vincas out there. Are they on sale, Alex?
The vincas, yes. The vincas are on sale. The Vinca Core series, the periwinkles, 4-inch pot, regularly $179, on sale $8 for $12.
Well, that's good. And that the red, the pink, the several white versions of the white are out there.
You and I like the red and the pure white.
Yeah.
Although, that there's something to be said for that white with a little pink throat, pinkish throat. Is it pinkish or reddish throat?
Yeah, and of course they're the most reliably deer-proof of the annual flowers for the summer in full sun. Yeah. Pentas, lots of pentas. Are they on sale too?
Let me check. I don't know if we talked about pentas for yesterday. No, not that I see.
Okay. Gosh, they look good. There's a lot of... They've got that bright red, the pink, lavender, and another white showy version. I had a few questions on the from readers and listeners about the blooms. Well, the question I got twice was they heard a lot of good things about it as a blooming plant in the shade, but they had it in dense shade and it was not blooming as well. And I told them, well, from our experience, it blooms best when it gets an hour to 2 hours of sun, and then the rest of the day in shade. And that sun can be pretty intense. That can be an afternoon. I've got one side of my house where they get that blast of afternoon sun, 2 hours of afternoon sun, and they're doing very well. On the other side of the house, they get the morning sun, and they do very well too. So, yeah, it's an attractive plant. And another one of them that gets a lot of attention for pollinators. If you look at Gayata Agilski's book on gardening to attract butterflies to your landscape, she does features. It's one of the plants she mentions, and that attracts a lot of pollinators and butterflies specifically. So that's a worthy. If you've never tried it, that's a worthy flower to put in your landscape, and pretty versatile. Can put up with that sun, and in fact does better if it's got a little dose of sun, in my experience. And over a long season, it is cold sensitive. Once the winter gets here, it doesn't last long. So that's out there. Oh, and then the zinnias. I don't see our Dreamland zinnias, Mark.
No, I think they have been purchased. They would be at the end of the table there. Those yellow ones, I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to walk out there.
I can see on the zinnias are right in front of us. I can see that they're on sale, $8 for $12.
$8 for $12, yes.
And these are mostly the smaller versions. Well, although some of the I see some of the double, and for the life of me, I can never remember Mark's favorite one.
Now you have to you jinxing me on it as well as not Dreamland.
Dreamland is the big
big bloom, one,
dense bloom,
and Sahara is one I like.
That's the smaller, that's the smaller.
P starts with a P.
And that's the medium size, and that's the one that's got the double, that bright orange double flower too. That's spectacular. over there. I can see some of those. Well, we'll think of it.
Yeah, we'll think of it. At the upcoming break, we'll raise out there. But, boy, if your landscape was just zinnias, pentas, and periwinkle, that would be just a gorgeous landscape, which you would not have to water all that much. A little bit to get going.
Well,
now he's shaking his head. No.
Well, I think we sometimes overestimate the drought tolerance of zinnias.
Okay.
The vincas for sure.
Yes.
The pentas are kind of in the middle, and the zinnias. But you're right. They, if you give them regular water, if you stay sensitive to watching them and seeing how they're performing, because sometimes they're in environments where they're pretty challenging. But, gosh, all three of those will bloom all through the summer. And they will, every one of them will attract some pollinators. Vincas are not the biggest attractors of pollinators, right. But some of the butterflies like them. Mm-hmm. But they bloom constantly, too. It's just what a switch, Mark, from the old. It wasn't too many years ago when we couldn't plant them before August.
Yeah, I was going to say July 1st was kind of our target date. You say when the rains diminish, then you could go with.
And we used to say, whatever you do, don't spray the top of the foliage or the blooms.
Spray the roots. Spray the roots.
And that's because back then the varieties were susceptible to aerial phytophthora, and gosh, they would melt. It was unbelievable. If they were in a rainstorm even, or if you did spray the foliage, they wouldn't survive very long. Now with the Cora, and then there's several other selections that have that same capability to resist the disease. They do fine. We can plant those we planted some in early April for sure, and they've done very well. Now there's another big display over there, Alex. Are begonias on sale?
Not this week. I think it was last week they were, but
gosh, yeah. Look at look at what she's.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Whoa, she's got looks like some big whoppers there. And she's got the wax leaf, the small cousin too.
Yeah, some kind of orangey coral, I guess. Yeah, beautiful. It's a massive display for the begonias.
And your initial reaction to begonias are that they're sensitive and frail. But they really aren't. They can tolerate. If they dry out, they give you a good lead time. They change a little color and let you know that hey, we need some water, but we won't go fast. They won't go as fast as the zinnias or anything, and so you got plenty of time to get the water on them. And then I always appreciate how well they do in the wintertime. If you, if you have a planting, part of it is that you plant them in the shade, so they're in sheltered kind of locations, but they survive the cold much better than a lot of other plants, much better than our cyclamen and. What's the one that we used to have that we can't find anymore?
There are a couple of them. No. I could see it. Royal blue flower, nice veiny
all those
leaf.
Lots of varied-colored.
Yeah. Well, I like the blue.
Foliage, too, was attractive.
Primula.
Primula, that's it. That's one of my favorites. Hopefully that'll be back on the wholesale market this winter, because gosh, that one's cyclamen is spectacular too. But I always liked primula is a little more subtle. Other than the color of the flowers that's pretty intense. It's like I always described it as circus colors. You know, when the old, of course you don't. Alex isn't old enough. And when Mark and I went, they used to go to the circus. The clowns all had the wax colored on their faces and everything, and it was glow in the dark kind of stuff. And that's the colors of the look of the primula out there. So lots of choices. There's our sweet taters out there, the ornamental sweet potatoes too. Both the red. It's not really a red. What is that? Is a
I would say like a
iron color or
like the violet. I would say
yeah. The violet, and then there's that light green. I always find that light green much easier to grow than the violet, and very showy. But it's cold sensitive too, so you. And also it needs and keep it well watered. But the good news is that you, even if the leaves drop, if you give it a quick watering, it'll recover pretty quickly.
Are we coming up on a break?
About 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's just do a tease then.
Okay.
The staff, I have asked the staff to keep me apprised of when a certain plant comes in. And it's...
Which one?
No, now I'm all
Can you remember, Mark?
No, I was leading up to it, ready to give a
It is so hard when you have to work with these old people.
No, it's plumeria came in yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
So they're potted up and ready to go.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah. A lot of times, what we call the plumeria
there
lady.
They are, right over there.
We call the plumeria lady. She brings a lot of them in, and sometimes they're not in pots, and the staff have to pot them up.
These are
they're all potted up,
6 foot tall.
Yeah. So they range in size from about 24 inches to all the way up to, well, I don't know about 6 foot, but pretty close. 4 or 5 at least. And so I hate to say it because I got to get one by the end of the show. So come in after 2. Okay, everybody come in after 2.
He won't be able to carry both of the plants that he's promised to get.
No, I'm not going to get the big one. So I already got a plumbago, and that's in the car. And I got to get a plumeria. So, yeah, come in after 2 o'clock. So then I still have my selection.
And then, let's see, we need to check and see if we got whoppers there or if there was just one big plant. There's that other version of the begonia, too, that is large like the whopper. Not as aggressive as the whopper, but very attractive for the shade. Lots of color, lots of plants that will fit the role of nectar suppliers for the butterflies. And one of the plants that are on sale, you probably talk about it when we come back from the break, are the roses.
Yes, we'll talk about those and a lot more that we have on sale. We're going to be right back with Milberger's Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Welcome back to Milberger's Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Love to hear from you. Give us a call at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867.
Quick before we all melt on the stage,
Yes.
on the patio.
What I know you're talking about one plant that we just gotten in. I know you were previewing it right before the break.
What was that? I can't remember.
What? Roses.
Oh, yes, the roses. Roses are on sale. The knockouts and the drift roses, 25% off.
Aren't all the roses on sale?
I think just the knockouts and drifts.
Oh,
for this
really?
week. I think last week it was all roses.
Because I noticed that we've still got Mrs. Dudley Cross, Martha Gonzalez, and...
So refresh my memory. There's a couple on for sale out there. It said Katy Road Pink. Is that what we went to Carefree Broody later on, or do you remember?
Yeah, Katy. Yeah, I don't know the whole story, but it was declared. Katy Road Pink was declared a old-fashioned rose, and that's the name they gave it. They found it in the neighborhood, and then there was this dispute and a discussion, and it turned out that it was in fact a Carefree Beauty. It was not a old-fashioned rose. It was, and so they went back. Now maybe I noticed that that a lot of folks are talking about Katy Road Pink again. I don't know if they've discovered that there is actually two species or two selections.
Yeah, I don't know, but we have 3 of them, and they are blooming up a storm. So that's what drew my eye to them.
They got the big pink bloom. I didn't see them over there. Yeah, now of course that's my Carefree Beauty or Katy Road Pink have always been my favorite. I love that the pink flowers. It's a little flatter. It's a larger flower than the Belinda's Dream, and it's got followed. The bloom is followed by the fruits, the rose fruits, which they're a little larger than normal, and so the birds kind of have to pick them apart. The mammals love them, but some gardeners make use of them for one of those tea drinks too. But and of course the Katy Road is one of those that blooms in a typical summer. If we've got our normal rainfall, bloom 8 or 9 months out of the year, along with Belinda's Dream, Grandma's Yellow, Mrs. Dudley Cross.
Old Blush, that's the one I mentioned on the tape show that I like, but I always forget.
Martha Gonzalez, yeah.
Yeah, Martha Gonzalez, another one.
So they're tough. I always brag on them, and for several years I was promoting them because as part of the Xeriscape, back when
Correct.
I was involved with Saws Water Conservation, they were so neat because they're so attractive and easy to grow, and it was unbelievable to have a rose that bloomed 8 months out of the year and was so drought tolerant that you could fit it right in the Xeriscape planting. And they do. They're tough. They're tough. They can take and you don't have to. It's not like a hybrid tea. You don't have to prune them on the special time on your calendar. And I love hybrid teas too, but I like better those tough modern roses and old-fashioned.
I don't think I've ever heard of black spot ever being on one of these tough roses that we mentioned.
I've heard it mentioned, but I'm with you. I haven't seen mine. I don't see the black spot on it.
And that's a scourge of hybrid teas. So, and you'll have to spray for it on hybrid teas to prevent it.
We need testimony of folks. I think that grow the. What are the 2 that are on sale?
The knockouts and the drift roses.
Okay, well, we know the knockouts do well and don't take a lot of special care, and the drift roses too. I suspect I've heard good things about them, too. So if anybody has a testimonial or grows those drift roses, let us know about how they do in terms of drought tolerance and black spot, pests, and what I'm suspecting that they fit right in that category, the same category as those tough modern roses that Mark and I are always talking about.
The drift roses have become very popular. So knockouts as well, and they were frequently or are frequently spec'd by landscape architects, and they're known for being tough. And full sun, dry, and they produce a lot of flowers.
What do they use them as a drift or a bed?
Exactly. So they are low growing, dense rows, and think of them as a mini Lady Banksiana with more flowering period.
Yeah. About how tall do they get?
I think the bigger ones, the older selections were taller, like 4 feet. Maybe these are like 30 inches.
Okay.
30 to 36 inches tall.
They got lots of color variation too.
Yeah, I think the preferred ones are the red ones too.
I know we've got some out there. I didn't note closely what colors they were.
I think it's red and white.
Okay.
Predominant colors, but they may have other ones as well.
Yes, both knockouts and drift roses, they're now 25% off. We also have Liriopes, regularly $8.99, on sale for $5.88.
That's a plant that I really like too. It's lots of choices. I think. Do we have the blue?
The most common ones are Big Blue and Giganta. And you're right. Since we're back in the nursery, I said I was going to go look. For those who listened to our wonderful taped show yesterday, we were talking about them, and then I said I was going to go look.
Yeah, that's one that we quite often mention. We're having lots and lots of experience with people whose landscape, their shade trees in their landscape have matured. Put 15, 20 feet, 20 years of growth on, and so the lawn is having trouble getting enough sun, and so one of the options, the alternatives is, well, instead of trying to grow those shade-tolerant sun-requiring San Augustine grass, Bermuda grass, or zoysia grass, to consider some of the ground covers that are more shade-tolerant, and one of them is the ones that's on sale. And then, of course...
In fact, drop down to the end of the list, and you'll see one that's also great for shade.
Is it Juga there?
No. It's Holly Fern.
Holly Fern. Yes.
Oh, that's right. You got that.
Yeah.
They're on.
Well, thank you for bringing into the taping session the list. Thank you, Calvin. So, or was it you? I think both of you brought in the list.
Oh, for the sales.
So Holly Fern is a great one. And I don't know if I said it on the taping show, but if you go along the Riverwalk and you find those staircases and overpasses where the streets go over, and you see little planting areas, and you see a plant in there that's almost in dark, that's a holly fern. It's Mahonia and holly fern are the two plants in there that you'll see.
It gives our list of shade-tolerant ground covers a bigger area. I mean, it's got
bigger options on the aesthetics.
How tall is it?
So holly fern, I think it's only going to be about 2 feet.
Oh, that's good though. That's kind of we talk a lot about if you want a larger shade-tolerant plant to cover space in a landscape. Talk about Turk's cap and shrimp plant, but that holly fern really.
And that's going to be evergreen, and a lot of people want evergreen. I'm not so hot on it, but I understand the desire.
And
For
it's
it.
also
So that's a really good one. And then mixing it up with other ones that we like, the standard monkey grass or ajuga you mentioned.
How does the juga look? Like we talk about layers and
See, I
it
think
seems like
would,
it would look real good with that holly
Yeah, I
fern.
think it would. That would be my preferred one. Although you can make an argument with spiky with a moundy one. So the Liriope that has a spiky foliage, and then the holly fern has more of a broad one. But a lot of times, I think in my mind's eye, I would like to have two similar ones. So the juga is a flat, low foliage with a bluish purple flower, and then you have this holly fern, which is also broad-leafed. And so I think the two would be very compatible.
Yeah. That if there's some gardeners out there that have tried growing those two together, and give us a report too on how that's gone, how it looks, and whether they put up with the same conditions. Most of those plants that we've identified in our shade-tolerant ground cover list, they're easier to grow. Once they're established, they use a lot less water and a lot less maintenance than regular lawn grass does.
That reminds me, is for those who have listened to me or read my articles a long time know that I advocate spikes and mounds. It's a very nice concept for landscape. For people don't know what the plants they want to do, or the type of landscape, like a xeriscape. So spikes and mounds. So, for instance, red yucca, kind of spiky foliage.
yes.
And then you place that with a new gold lantana or a creeping germander. So you have these spiky leaves and mounding plants. So that's kind of a nice, or a rose, and then more of a ground cover. So there's different ways to do it, but that comparison, landscape architects love that contrast, comparison and contrast. So did my English professor as well. Comparison and contrast.
Compare and contrast, yes. And speaking of the holly ferns, it's saying that it's highly resistant to deer and rabbits. Would y'all say?
And
that's-
rabbits?
And rabbits.
We're going rabbit hunting.
But yes, holly ferns, they're on sale regularly $12.99, and a number one on sale for $8.88.
Yeah.
I have a green fruit that I picked off a tomato, and in the dark last night it looked like stink bug. But I think Mary was correct this morning. It looks more like a fungal disease, and it's leaking all over the porch here. Anyway, but I brought that in, one, to show you, Alex,
Yes.
what stink bug damage looks like, but also to kind of help us talk about, it is production month, isn't it?
Sure is.
And
Lots of tomatoes getting produced.
I think we'll touch base on that once we come back from the break. That
excellent.
way we could spend more time on it. But we'd love to hear from you. We've missed you. 210-308-8867. We'll be right back with Milberger's Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Welcome back to Milberger's Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867. I want to make a correction. I was reminded before the show that I've been saying the name of a certain citrus tree wrong. I've been calling it Meyer's Improved Lemons. I was told it was Myers.
yeah, we didn't want to correct you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
But yes, on Wednesday,
Yes.
during our taping, you had said Mayors. Well, I'm sure somewhere in the country that is correct.
But yes, citrus trees are on sale, starting at $49.99. On sale, 25% off. That includes Myers Improved Lemon, Mexican Lime, and more.
All right.
We have satsumas, several kinds of satsumas.
I think we even have some Persian limes out there. I should have made a quick run on that.
Do we have any of our favorite grapefruits?
Our Bloom Sweet?
Yeah.
No, but maybe I'll check after the news on that.
It's a
if you haven't had
kind of an old-fashioned one, but gosh, it's easy to grow and it has pretty good cold tolerance.
Yeah,
I really like the taste of it.
So that's what would you call the color on that? It's not pink. So you have your Rios from the Rio Grande, Ruby Red, and Ruby Star, I think, are the ones. But this one is like the traditional color. And
it's got some seeds.
It's got some seeds, but boy, is it tasty.
It is nice and sweet. Now, of course, if you take a lot of medications, you want to make sure you check.
Yeah.
Because grapefruit juices don't always interact constructively with prescription drugs.
So 20 years ago, that was warfarin. You couldn't, if you took warfarin as a blood thinner, you couldn't eat grapefruit. I don't know which other ones nowadays, which other drugs they have, but yes, Calvin is correct. Always ask your doctor about grapefruit and your drugs because they can exacerbate their effect.
But it'll be wonderful if they say no problem.
Yeah.
Because you'll really like that Bloom Sweet if you get a chance. Now, we used to have, though, one of the Rio versions, but I don't remember. I hadn't checked to see if we still have it. But, and then the Satsumas are always a good choice for our backyard landscapes.
Mm-hmm.
They do a good job. You can plant those into the ground. I always like to recommend that you plant them in raised bed, but they don't have to be like limes and lemons. We generally think of they do best in large containers, but satsumas, Bloom Sweet, they do pretty well. They can tolerate the cold as long as you give. When it gets real cold, you can cover them up. They'll survive quite often. So.
But yeah, the Mexican lime is real conducive for growing in a large container.
It's amazing how many fruit get produced.
Yeah. It still has to be a large container.
And it's preferred to grow them in a container rather than planting them in the ground here.
Oh yeah, like they're going to be in a number 2 and number 3 container here, and that's the new term for the old-fashioned gallons. So it'd be in 2-gallon or 3-gallon, but we're talking 20-gallon minimum.
Yeah, I always use half whiskey barrels. Mm-hmm. Now, if you can, some of these versions, those barrels that have the wheels. Now, you'll need to be able to protect them from the cold. So you either got to be able to roll them into a greenhouse type protection, or you need to have a structured protection that goes over the top of them. And but you need to be ready because they in a typical winter they'll have 2 or 3 freezes that will damage them considerably. The Satsumas and the Bloom Sweet and some of the other varieties of citrus will get through with minimal damage, but the limes and the lemons, they need to be protected. And some of the most effective structures are kind of like those tent-like structures.
Yeah. I always laugh and say, you see the porta potties? Think of those, but only lightweight. That you're making about that size, and you're putting them over a little bit larger, and you're putting them over your limes or lemons.
Yeah, and not only do they produce a wonderful fruit, they're very, very attractive. the blooms are fragrant, the evergreen foliage attractive, and the plants are just great. And then they make a wonderful nesting site for egg-laying site for our giant swallowtails. So that's a worthy cause in itself to produce more of those beautiful butterflies. Now we always I read I think it was one of might have been Gayeta Jilski's book. I think she was relating that the giant swallowtails were not always the favorite of citrus producing gardeners because of the swallowtails laid their eggs.
And I never found them to be highly invasive. Yeah, they're a little bit of a nuisance, but
they're generally one or two caterpillars, and if you're not having to make your living producing massive crops of lemons or limes, you can tolerate sharing some foliage with giant swallowtails, and then you can enjoy their attractiveness as well. Of course, we can't hardly brag on the attractiveness of the caterpillars, unless you're into bird poop. Huh?
Yeah. So the caterpillars literally look like bird poop. I mean, yeah, literally.
Yeah, a lot of gardeners, the first ones they see, that's their first reaction. And then they'll say, well, wait a minute now. Something is eating that foliage. I better go back and look. And then they figure out that bird poop has got legs and is actually eating the citrus foliage. So it's a great plant. But, yeah, you can't go wrong. What a nice gift, too. When is Father's Day? So
next Saturday. Next week from
Sunday,
today.
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yep, it's next week.
So
nice present for Grandpa. Lemon or lime or
yes,
or grapefruit.
Right. So I taught who was that other guy that we said Milton? Okay,
Milton.
I taught Milton this. So what's the difference between Mexican lime and Persian lime?
What is it?
So Persian limes go in your gin and tonic, and Mexican limes go in your margarita. So if you do one or the other, then you should get that. The Persian limes are the bigger ones. The Mexican limes tend to be the small, round ones.
That's good to know.
It is good to know. It's very important to know.
Absolutely.
No, and if you don't drink those mixed drinks, you can always use them in lemonade and other juice.
That's true.
Yeah,
they're very tasty.
No, the Mexican limes are very useful for many different things.
That's so
salsas and salsas. And
it's so much fun when you've got like your grandchildren come and visit, and you tell them, "Well, let's make some lemonade. Go pick some of those lemons or limeade off the tree," and they get all excited about that, and then you get to cut them up to each other, and then you squeeze them, and they always want to taste the potent taste. Those lemons and limes, the Meyer and the Mexican lime, are very tasty too. Not quite as potent as
So the history of them, it is actually called the improved Meyer's lemon. And this gentleman in, I believe it was Florida, he was working with combining lemons with the attributes of oranges. And so the improved Meyer's lemon is actually has some parentage with an orange. Hence, its flavor is so good. The juice is really flavorful. with a little hint of orange in it, and it makes the most fabulous lemonade.
Yeah, it's potent enough to
it's
lemonade.
It's a lemon, but you also have these hints of other citrus in it, so it's great.
Yeah. And they don't have that. They work well in that half whiskey barrel size. They don't have to get to be huge to produce a lot of fruit. And generally, even when they get a little freeze damage, they'll recover and next season.
Don't be worried about using your pruners. Do that, and you can do that pretty much any time, but we usually do it in spring.
You know, another plant that you might be using your pruners on is one of those that I wrote about in my article on yesterday, the coral vine. That is taken over now. It disappears every winter because it's cold sensitive and dies back to the ground. But boy, it comes out gangbusters now, and it kind of a big, almost a big wave.
Right.
Will go across your yard or up your building or on your even on your trees. But it's not as bad as the some of those vines in terms of the trees, but it will make a big plant, big wave almost across the landscape or on the building. But the thing about it, they're very attractive, and you talk about an all-star pollinator plant. There is one. It's hard to have a plant that attracts more bees and butterflies and hummingbirds than that coral vine does. Queen's crown, they also call it. The normal color is pink, but I kind of partial towards the red one.
Yeah, and I was trying to remember the red one's name, that variety's name, or selection's name. Do you remember it?
No, I don't remember.
It was something scarlet, and I can't think of what it was. And we had them here. They tend to be more restrained. Of course, the color of the flower is a deeper red as opposed to the pink. I had a friend. He asked me yesterday. He was going, "What is this vine with this flower on it?" It was at his girlfriend's house. He didn't know what it was. I said, "Oh, that's Queen's Wreath or coral vine." He looked it up, and he also found another name. It says called Mexican creeper. And I said, "Well, I've never heard of that one." But
no, I haven't either.
But it was on Facebook. Yeah, Facebook's always right? But he was going, "Does anything eat it?" Well, he was worried about. Well, he noticed all the pollinators, particularly the bees, and it is a lovely bee pollinator. But he just wondered, does anything hurt it? And I said, cold weather. That's about the only thing I know of. So.
Yeah. Did you relate our discussion we always have about? Well, do the deer eat it?
Yeah, I did.
We can't always tell. Mark and I can't always tell if the deer eat it or not. We do know that generally, if they do eat it, they don't eat it fast enough to stop the spread in your landscape. But sometimes it looks like they do eat it, especially if you got it growing on the fence side. They will kind of trim off the parts they can reach. So it's a great plant, available at here at Milberger's and at most nurseries.
Here at Milberger's, yes. And I know we didn't mention the tomato since it is production month.
It is production month.
So we'll touch base on that after the other side of the news. So we'll be right back with Milberger's Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. We'll be right back.
We're back with Milberger's Gardening South Texas, live from Milberger's Landscaping and Nursery at 1604 in Bulverde Road. Come out to visit or call us at 210-308-8867. That's 210-308-8867. And now back to Milberger's Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Welcome back to Milberger's Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Alex Escobar with Dr. Calvin Finch and Mark Peterson. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867. As I was looking earlier, we're under some flash flood warnings for these next few days. We have some high chances of rain coming up.
Yeah, there was pretty serious rain this morning when I left the house.
Oh, yes.
But I got out on the freeway and nothing.
Didn't look like anything happened.
Yeah. Now, another thing in my article that sunflowers we talked about. I think we talked about it yesterday a little bit about sunflowers. They are blooming up a storm now.
And I don't see the ones that were here last week.
Oh, yeah.
That were for sale.
Yeah. Well, I like the annual sunflower, and I like to kind of designate a patch every year where I'm going to let it grow, and I just collect some of the sunflower heads from the crop of the previous year, and just lay them out so they can the seeds will fall out and make contact with the soil, and they will come back. Now, sunflowers are wonderful. Birds, especially my favorite lesser goldfinches, eat the seeds, and they'll be in your yard 12 months out of the year if you've got sunflowers growing. Then they also serve as a nesting site for some of the butterflies. The bordered patch is the one. And if Milton was here, we could harass him about that, because he had a real affection for sunflowers, more of an affection than he did for the border patch butterflies that would lay their eggs, and those caterpillars would strip the foliage off. The good news was the foliage grew back pretty quickly. And then the other thing is that the pollinators really like those sunflowers. The butterflies, even the hummingbirds, it's strange to watch them. Yeah, they treat them a lot like they do the zinnias. But that's sunflowers are a worthy plant to have in your landscape. But you do need, and unless you want them to take over the whole yard, if you're in full sun, they can take over. But if you have one of those shady landscapes that we've been talking about, they don't like the shade. But if you do try to grow them, then you want to kind of designate where you're going to grow them, and remove them from places otherwise. But because they will, I've got some that are 8 feet tall, even the annual sunflowers, and they love garden space if they get in there. But they're great to have, really attract the wildlife, and easy to grow. But they'll take advantage of as much property as you give them access to grow. So consider that. You can also, most of nurseries, including Milberger's, has them on the seed rack, so you can get the annual sunflower. Now you can also get perennials, like the Maximilian sunflower, and then Alex was talking about the fancy one that we had here in containers, but it looks like they all got sold. They were beautiful. But they, lots of different choices, and including those big Russian mammoth sunflowers too. That they the annual sunflower, like we're talking about, has a tiny little seed. The birds love it, but it's harder for a human to make it any pleasure out of eating it. But they make a good addition to your landscape, and especially if you're looking to attract birds, not only the lesser goldfinches, but the house finches, the mockingbirds, cardinals. Cardinals really like the sunflowers too. Almost every bird does. So it's a worthy plant to target, especially if you're willing to keep it under control. I'm not going to tell the story of the.
You're not going to tell the story?
No, of the Mitchell Lake Botanical Gardens. Where
wasn't that the one where you got chided?
it really was, yeah. I got lectured, man.
Oh, I know what I wanted to say on that in regards to that. There are certain plants I don't think they would mind passing along. And my story is I went out and I was looking at a line. They were worried about a gas line or something. And so I said, well, I'll go flag it out for you. And I walked across this pasture meadow, if you will, and I came back and I was covered head to toe, literally, with that that seed that attacks you, the little seed, the little what is it called? I'm going to go. It's not bindweed. It's beggar's lace.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm like, what am I going to do? This is terrible. And I spent the next hour trying to remove it all from my shoes and from my pants and my jeans, my shirt. But so I said, napalm. We need to address this with napalm.
Well, I guess we better tell folks out there that the story then, because I had worked. In fact, I was on the board of directors out there at the Audubon Center years ago, and they always had a lot of sunflower growing there. So I didn't even think about it when I was telling people how exciting I was by sunflower and how much I liked it in the landscape. Yeah. And you can get the seed at the nursery, or you can get the seed from your neighbors, or you can go to some place like the Mitchell Lake Audubon Center and just pick some of the heads. They got a million extra ones there. And of course they didn't care for that at all, because they reminded me that they, in addition to common and plants that were not threatened, they also did a good job of growing plants or preserving plants that had a threatened existence. And so it was not, in the long run, it was not a good idea to suggest that people go out there and collect their seed from a facility like the Audubon Center. So they convinced me, and so buy your seed, get your seed from your neighbor, or quite often your garden club, who most of them do a plant exchange, and you'll have at least one or more gardener that will be growing sunflower and collect you some heads.
All you need is one big head from one of those large sunflowers. So,
yeah, they're great. They're a great plant. That's a good idea. They're blooming up a storm right now, so they're attractive. Plus, they're sleepers.
What a lovely segue. Hey, that's what your article was about.
Yeah.
That what's blooming right now is we talked a little bit about coral vine, but what else? Sunflowers. We talked about that just now. What else is on your list?
Yesterday we brought up one of the flowers that we're using much less than we do now. I mean, than we used to.
Yeah.
And it's a deer-proof plant. Very attractive flowers. There's a discussion about, and I kind of emphasized its toxicity in the article, and some gardeners and even some veterinarians might say I kind of overstated that, because they really haven't recorded a lot of damage from the toxicity. It has enough toxicity to discourage the deer from eating it, but most pets and even children are smart enough to know when they taste something and it tastes terrible, then you don't eat any more of it. And
yeah.
What was the?
Well, I was relating that a long time ago when I first came here 40 years ago. I didn't know too much about oleander, so either Paul Cox or somebody else related me to the story about the Boy Scouts who had used oleander because it's such a nice straight stick. So they stripped all the leaves off and then cooked their hot dogs over it, and then they all died.
Of course.
And I went, no. Oh, yeah. And
Paul was always fascinated by those toxic. Texas mountain laurel was one of his favorites.
Yeah, he always had a red bean in his pocket. Anyway, and then I like to tell the story, particularly to out-of-towners, about the Native Americans using the beans as a part of their religious, because it will make you throw up, and but also prior to throwing up, you have lovely psychotic dreams, and then you throw up. Hence the name Alex Fomatoria.
Makes sense.
I'm sorry, that was the holly, the Yopons, Alex Fomatoria.
Yeah, but the oleander is a plant, and but just to not overstate its problem is that most vets have never had a problem with pets and most doctors not a problem with youngsters bringing in, tasting enough of the oleander to have it affect them. Now, if you had an allergy to it, that could be a threat. Or if you were just not, you just insisted on continuing to taste it, I suppose it could be a threat. But the taste is so bad and the reaction is so quick that most people are not threatened by it in the long term. And it's a very attractive plant, so you can consider it, and it is blooming up a storm right now. There had a lot of problem with it, the oleander making through the freeze in 2021. So there's a lot fewer than we used to see growing out there. My neighborhood, I think, I just remember 2 now, when there used to be quite a few.
If you had a full sun area and you had a problem with deer and you needed a little fence or a little shrub, that would be the perfect shrub for that.
And in fact, I think some of the pollinators, like the hummingbirds, go ahead and use the nectar on there without any negative effect too. But anyway, that's just one to keep in mind, and it's relatively high on the list of potent chemical plants. The one that seems to be highest, though, is the one that was we talked a lot about the freeze thing.
We talked about it yesterday on the tape show. Is sago palms, particularly the female. And I think you looked it up. It's a beautiful red-looking triangular. It looks like a fruit, or like a Christmas candied fruit, and it is highly toxic.
And that was one that my veterinarian, when I quizzed him about this years ago, he said that was the only plant that he ended up treating pets for, because I guess it was potent enough and mild enough taste that pets, and attractive enough that a lot of pets did continue to did consume it enough that they had a reaction to it. But it was the only one, he said, that he expected every growing season to have some reaction. They have some treatment that was required. So that's kind of an interesting situation. Now the other...
what's the other plants that you had?
Just the horse herb.
The horse herb, or a.k.a. straggler daisy.
Yeah.
Now, if you were the horse herb, what would you rather be? Straggler daisy or horse herb? I think horse herb. And so I try to honor its wishes and call it horse herb all the time. But you pointed out, if not in the article, then on the radio, deer do not eat grass. Deer eat what we call commonly, or what you call weeds, we call forbs. Remember that with the maize and the corn?
And they...
A long time ago. I know it was before your time.
And they browse.
Yeah.
Rather than graze. Yeah. But then quite often you'll see in our neighborhoods in the Central Texas area that the deer will be out there eating horse herb in our lawns, especially now with this rain we've had and the shady areas on the lawns where there's lots of horse herb that's prospering out there. And not only the deer eat the herbs that Mark is talking about, including the blooms and the foliage. But one of our favorite butterflies, the black swallowtail, utilizes it. You'll see quite often. You'll see them cruising over the lawn and stopping to get some of the nectar. And
so it's always amazing how they get nectar out of those little tiny flowers.
Tiny little yellow flowers. Yeah, it's strange when we compare the horse herb. In an article we talk about what's blooming now. We say horse herb, and then we compare it to something as spectacular as oleander or as passion vine. But they're all blooming now. They all have an important role in the landscapes. And in fact, horse herb is domesticated. We've carried it quite often here at Milberger's.
And its component in the ecosystem, if you will.
Certified butterfly. Certified butterfly gardens, too.
Frog fruit. And so you often see an area that's horse herb and frog fruit mixed together.
Yeah, and if it's dry, sunny, then you'll get a dominance from the frog fruit. And if you get, most of the time, if there's some rain, or then you get in more shady, then you'll get a dominance from the horse herb. Quite often landscapes will have both. My landscape and a lot of them in my neighborhood have both. I think I kind of like the frog fruit is kind of more attractive and interesting, but it's not as aggressive.
Yeah, it's a little taller, so it's more evident in the yard, but not by much. They're pretty much the same size. It kind of reminds me of Bermuda in August and St. Augustine. So if you have a yard with a little bit of shade, you have Bermuda, and then you have St. Augustine creeping from the edges, or vice versa. So we often call it Bermudastine or Agamuda. So that's what your landscape, your lawn is a combination of both. And so same thing here. If you have your sustainable lawn, which we like to talk about,
yes,
you're going to have some horse herb and some frog fruit, and maybe some other few other little forbs.
There's the one with the three three-petaled blue
Yeah.
flower. That's quite prominent out there right now too.
There's that little purple one, the henbit. That's also out there. There's lots of little flowers. In fact, I used to have a website, or I used to go to a website. It's also at Texas A&M AgriLife, and it has a picture of every known weed, quote weed, in the Texas landscape. So, and a photo picture of it, so it's fairly easy to identify. But there's all different kinds.
Do you need to? There are other plants that are on sale,
There
Alex, or do you want to take a break?
There's plenty of other sales, but we'll touch base on that when we get back from our break. But we'd love to hear from the listeners, 210-308-8867. We're going to be right back with Milberger's Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Welcome back to Milberger's Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Give us a call at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867. We do have a few other items for sale here at Milberger's, for sale and on sale. First, we have the Texas Sage in a number 3, regularly $24.99, on sale $18.88. Shade trees in 15 and 30 gallons, or number 15 and number 30. They value up to $329.99, sells for 15% off. We have Vitex, values up to $34.99, now 30% off. Metal art decorations starting at $24.99, now 25% off. Houseplants starting at $4.99, on sale 15% off. Of course, we have Milberger's Premium Lawn and Garden Fertilizer, only $49.99. It's a 40-pound bag, which covers 7,600 square feet. And as we mentioned earlier, the Holly Ferns in a number 1, regularly $12.99, on sale $8.88.
That's a big list.
The last plant on my article that we mentioned it slightly, but we can talk more about is the Passiflora species, the passion vines.
Oh, yeah.
Because they attract. That's the place where the fritillary butterflies lay their eggs. A couple of different kind of fritillaries, the Gulf fritillary, and then at least one other fritillary that is active right now too. And my favorite of those passion vines, and I think is that native, that one that comes up. I still to this day do not know how it got in my landscape. But when I got in,
but you know it's there now.
Yeah. I have interest in. When I started having the interest in the monarch butterflies and all the other butterflies, suddenly the passion vine showed up, and it comes up every year, and then freezes back to the ground, so relatively easy control. But the flower that are blooming right now are the classical passion vine flower. They are kind of a blue, kind of purpley colored and fancy.
Very interesting flower.
Yeah.
Its architecture and shape, not just the colors. Very interesting. Now there's about 9 different species, including an exotic one from the Caribbean. Now they can be invasive, these exotic ones. So try for the native ones, and it's a purple and white flower with distinctive curls on the edge.
Now, they also produce a fruit, can be large marble size usually. And the ones, there is one of those that is naturalized that we quite often call a native, has a red fruit that's very attractive. The other regular, the real native has a lighter color, and they are are eaten not aggressively but by birds and mammals, that fruit. But the real attraction to them is the flowers and the nectar, and then also the egg-laying site for the fritillary butterflies, which are everywhere right now, and looking good, very attractive. They'll be here all summer. Well, our monarchs are busy traveling through the north. Monarchs will be back in September and October.
And that's another, peach vine is another vine, just like the coral vine, that freezes back in the wintertime. And you do have to clean it up, but
and it's not nearly as aggressive. Yeah. It's attractive vine, but it's not it doesn't grow in big waves like the coral vine does. That the individual plants come out, and then you can even grow it in containers. Mm-hmm. Kind of an interesting. If you want to bring all the fritillaries onto your patio, put it in a plastic half whiskey barrel size container, and it'll track the butterflies there. Now one of the things about the fritillaries and the passion vines, Mark, some of them can be pretty invasive, and we quite often experience that some of those, they'll have those big vine stalks, woody vine stalks, and the caterpillars from the fritillary butterflies will eat all the foliage off, and all that'll be left with the flowers on the stalks. Mm-hmm. And
or that red fruit,
Yeah. The good news is that the foliage comes back pretty quickly. A quick recovery. They're used to supporting the butterflies and the caterpillars, and then so. In fact, we have some. I think we have at least one vine here at the Certified Butterfly Garden, and then we have another one over there. If you notice the butterfly vine over there, the
Which
yellow
one?
Flowers over there by the Certified Butterfly Garden.
Yeah, I noticed, but I haven't seen it for a while. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it's an attractive little. Reminds me of a little bit of the yellow on our Esperanza and our Theralis. That same yellow color. The bloom resembles more of a Theralis than the.
But that's another one that you could have included in the article is Theralis. That's a nice blooming shrub.
Because it is along with its sidekick, the Esperanza. It's blooming up a storm right now, and it is another pollinators love it, especially the bees and the butterflies. I haven't seen. I think it must attract the hummingbirds too, but I haven't seen nearly as many hummingbirds on it as you would see on the Esperanza.
In fact, you could have had a whole page of your column just on flowering plants right now.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So traditional ones like Theralis, Esperanza, Pride of Barbados. Firebush.
That's one of the desirable characteristics of gardening in Central and South Texas. Is you got 12 months out of the year you can do an article on what's blooming now, because there's always something blooming now. Yep. And a lot of them are really fascinating plants, and they include a lot of native plants, but also some really interesting exotic plants. It's always a debate what's native and what's exotic, because when you're talking about an area as large as Texas, one end of Texas, a plant is native, the other end usually doesn't grow there. So.
Yeah. So yes, we've seen it in Saltillo or Monclova. Is it native? And you go, oh yeah. Usually political borders don't separate the native areas. It could grow here.
I occasionally accuse some folks that they're prejudiced. If they like a plant, they look hard to make it native. If they don't like it, it's in one of those exotic invasive plants.
Okay, that actually is with Mexican live oak or Mexican white oak. It's trademarked as Monterey oak, and that's where it was first discovered in northern Mexico. But people liked it, and they tried hard, very hard, to find it as a native. So there's 2 locations in Valverde County where it's found native. So it has now been declared a native species. So when you get your Monterey oak, Mexican live oak, Mexican white oak.
So how different are they?
No, they're the same, pretty much the same species. Yeah. The Quercus polymorpha is its scientific binomial. Polymorpha. You kind of get a hint that the leaves are very
It's
will
everything.
differ between tree and tree.
It's everything, huh?
Yeah.
All characteristics. Interesting. Did you brought up the fact? Are we still on our tree selection still on sale?
Yes, all the shade trees.
Yeah.
They are on sale. They are 15% off. That's the number 15 and the number 30s.
And I noticed some really nice anaquas back there that they're.
Oh, did you? Good.
Yeah,
Good,
they
good,
were
good.
and they were like 10 or 12 feet tall, as all. So that would be a reasonable plant to plant.
On our show yesterday, which was the tape show, I didn't know, and I said I think, but I don't know what sizes we have. So you confirmed it that we have some fairly nice size.
Yeah.
Anaquas.
Yeah, and a lot of oaks, different oaks. In addition to your Mexican oaks,
We
there's
are
some bur oaks.
Yeah, we are known as the oak juniper biome, which stretches from Madisonville, Texas, all the way to the Pacific coast. So those are the predominant species across this area, all the way on the southwest. So yeah, we have lots of different oaks. Fortunately, I didn't have to study all of them in school. But there's a lot of West Texas oaks. Yes, this leaf is 2 inches long. That's one species. This leaf is 3 inches long and a slightly different color. That's a different species. And I would go, they look the same to me.
What about the? Now we talk about one of the ways to reduce the potential for oak wilt to spread is to diversify our shade tree planting. And we mention cedar elm quite often. It always amazes me that the cedar elm actually usually can grow larger than a lot of the oak trees.
Yeah, it's certainly taller. So cedar elms will have a oval to a round canopy, whereas like live oaks will have a broad canopy, maybe umbrella shape, but sort of an umbrella shape. So you can see the cedar elms poking up in the canopy here and there. Now the Monterey oaks or Mexican live oaks will do that as well. They have an oval shaped canopy, but yeah, you see that. And then on that note, to take that further, is so we're looking at white oak, the subgroup white oak, which is resistant, not immune.
Yeah,
resistant to oak wilt.
In the early days in the oak wilt, when we talked about it, we would talk about, go ahead and you're safe if you plant the white oaks. And then suddenly, 10 years later, we talk about all oaks are susceptible.
Yeah, it was a subtle difference, and sometimes you have to be less subtle and more over the head with a hammer or 2x4. So members of the white oak group, and that would include the aforementioned Mexican live oak, but also chinquapin oak, Lacey's oak, bur oak, post oak. These are all members of the white oak. They are resistant, which means maybe 1 or 2 out of 10 would get the disease, as opposed to something like live oak is 8 out of 10. And then red oaks, 10 out of 10 will die from the disease. So if they get it. So that's why I said now we're moving more and more towards non-oak species completely. So for us, that would include cedar elm, the Mexican sycamore, Montezuma cypress. What else do I like? There's one that is not highly available, but I highly recommend it. Highly available. Not widely available in the nursery trade, but I highly like it. It's something called a netleaf hackberry. And trying to marketing employees trying to talk about Texas Hill Country Sugarberry is the name we're trying to promote. Now, this is a hackberry in the hill country in the middle of August when other trees are suffering. You'll see this dark green upright tree, and it's just thriving. And it's oak wilt resistant, of course. It's not your regular sugarberry. This is a hackberry in the hill country that does extremely well in dry conditions. And it's called a netleaf hackberry.
Is there still a danger that folks will get, you talked about the Mexican sycamore. Are some sources still selling the American sycamore here?
I don't know on that one. I would always imagine that one. Maybe some of the big box stores, which are headquarters in other parts of the country, and they're buying in bulk. So they probably have American sycamore. Another reason why always buy from a local nursery, a locally owned nursery, such as Milberger's, will have species which are adaptable to this area.
Well, and it's easier to hold somebody responsible, wouldn't it? And certainly Milberger's wants to be responsible for successful gardening.
Oh, absolutely. All right, we're going to take one more break for today. Give us a call at 210-308-8867. We'll be right back with Milberger's Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Welcome back to Milberger's Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. We got about 10 minutes in our show for today, but still love to hear from you. 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867. And just as a reminder, next Saturday will be another pre-recording. Our station's going through some more maintenance, so the building will be shut down, so we won't be able to live stream. But we will still have a show pre-recorded for you that is up to date with Milberger sales for the weekend. But then we'll be back live next Sunday.
And then we should be
back to
our regular schedule.
Yes, back to regular operations.
You may be wondering why I'm wearing orange today.
Why are you wearing orange for the listeners?
It's not for the Knicks. No.
Thank goodness.
No, I would never do that.
Is that for the University of Texas?
No, it's not. It's the wrong color orange.
Is it UTSA?
It is for the Netherlands in soccer. Hop, hop, Holland. And they're playing Japan at 3 today. For the World Cup, supporting the Netherlands and with their orange. Although, the USA looked pretty good a couple days ago against Paraguay, I believe.
Yeah. 4-1 they won.
4-1. Boy, that's a lot of goals, and that's good. Is in the group round, sometimes goals do count to get out of group. So that's good. So I'll be watching somewhere. If anybody knows where the Dutch people are gathered, please tell me.
Well, we certainly know now, after last night, we will not be watching the Spurs
unfortunately
playing anymore for the championship.
I'm just assuaging my sadness with the fact that 20, 21, 22, I think one old person at 28 are the ages of the team, and they have a long future ahead.
Very young team.
I'm so sad, though.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's pretty nerve-wracking. We got spoiled. They were doing so well and getting so competent, but I guess it was too much to expect they were going to win the championship already. But they did some good things and learned some things, and so we should expect more from them in the future, I guess.
Well, I guess just to preview for next weekend, Calvin, what's your article going to be about?
Oh, gosh, let's see. Give me
or if you have any ideas of
tough,
what it might be.
Tough question here. Let's see. I do the question, the gardening question and answer article for the New Braunfels and Wilson County and Pleasanton, and then I do the article for the Express News. I'm trying to think of what my topic was. It was I'm sorry, I can't remember what it will be. I will remember on
Wednesday.
Wednesday
when we record.
When
we record.
Yes.
That's right. We'll be recording in the nice, cool, quiet offices of K-Loop, Salem Corporation.
And then, Mark, you're saying during the break that you have a video you need to that you're going to be recording. Correct?
I'm going to be recording on my GVST videos, the Go Gardening series. We'll be doing a video tomorrow over at Terrell Heights Church of Christ. There's an outdoor garden that was designed, and it was a competition, and they actually won an award. It's called Charis Park. So there's some shade plants, some pollinator plants, and what we used to call a bioswale. Now it's called a rain garden. So it was designed to incorporate water coming off a parking lot into an area where it can soak into the ground, and it has specialized plants that would assist in pollinating as well as allowing that water to go into the ground
and help water conservation.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I like that. We used to. Well, what else did we used to call them? I forget. We had an older name for it, not bioswales, but.
Yeah, I don't remember the bioswales, but the rain garden.
Rain gardens is the more modern term. If you were a homeowner and said, well, we're going to create a bioswale or a rain garden, which one would you support? So on that. So we're going to do that on tomorrow, and then we'll do another one later on, I think a couple weeks. And then those will be for July.
And where do they go to if they want to see?
So those are Gardening Volunteers of South Texas, and their website is gardeningvolunteers.org. And when you get to the website, you'll see a bunch of tabs, and one will be Go Gardening Videos. And so you just click on those. that month's videos will be on there for 30 days, and then they go to YouTube. So if you want to see some of the older videos, you just go to YouTube, put in YouTube Go Gardening video, and then you'll see all the archives.
How many years have we got?
We are starting on our 5th year now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Yeah, this seems much longer than
I got some additional help. So I was out of town in New York for a while, and I think I had Lee Marlowe do one. So she helped out. Appreciate that.
Well, Lee is always a good source for gardening information.
Yeah. So she has a really
entertaining and knowledgeable.
Yeah. She has a really long title, and I just go, Senior Naturalist.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, that's okay. Senior Naturalist for the San Antonio River Authority.
Yeah, and another good organization that works well with us in terms of the environment.
So I was at Confluence Park yesterday, and I just want to shout out to the San Antonio River Authority. That is beautiful. I encourage anybody to go down to Confluence Park. That's on Mitchell, south side of town. And the number of pollinators and different grasses and different trees all along the San Antonio River. They have selected different types of trees. And then put them on the parking lot areas to give examples of different trees that you may have. But it's a beautiful area, and I would encourage everyone to go there. It's called Confluence because it's the confluence of San Antonio River and San Pedro Creek.
So how do you find it again? You want to go to their website, and that should be
you go to the website. That's the easiest way. But you get it's between Probant and Roosevelt on Mitchell, if you will. Pressa, Roosevelt, Mitchell on Mitchell Street, but before Probant. So I get off, if I want to go really a direct route is I go 90 to Probant, turn left.
Sounds good. And hopefully we'll have some new plants this next weekend. We, of course, expect a lot of butterfly action. Mm-hmm. And we hopefully will be getting some milkweeds and some passion vines. I mean, not passion vines, but porterweeds. That's what I'm looking for now.
Hope springs eternal.
Yeah, especially those dwarf red bloomed plants. They're very attractive, and it is an all-star. Now we do have the mist flower here, don't we, Mark?
Yeah, it's over behind you, over your shoulder.
I see.
And that is a plant which everyone should have. That is highly attractive to all butterflies, bees, and hummingbirds.
Oh, absolutely. We want to thank you again for listening to Milberger's Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Alex Escobar with Dr. Calvin Finch and Mark Peterson. Have a great week. We will see you next weekend.